Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Entrepreneurship 101 on LinkedIn Live. I'm Vince Ortiz, Vice President of Franchise Development, and of course we have Dave Wescott here, our CEO of TransBlue. In our series in Starting Your Own Business, today's topic is going to be about training and mentorship, and some of the important business essentials that are needed for those topics. Because whether you're running a small business or you're part of a larger business, those independent or franchise, those are really important components to business and can't be overstated. So with that, when it comes to training and mentorship, Dave, leadership and management,
Yeah, mentorship. What a great topic to chat on today. I love mentorship. And I think it's something that we all need to have in place, and we need to think about, as we begin to grow our business. And I think, number one is we got to look at ourselves first, right? What do we need? What does that look like? And then when we find that mentor or we find somebody that we look up to in business, I think the number one thing is making sure that those values align, right? Making sure that your mentor and who you're working with, that you have the same set of values. Because if you don't have the same set of values, that advice or that mentorship might not be everything that you want it to be. So I think that's number one. And then, really looking at yourself and saying, what do I need out of a mentor? What am I going to gain from that? And then, putting those parameters in place. And I think it's about being honest with the mentor too, right? Like really looking at who that person is and, sharing with them about, really about the options, because we can all sell, right? We can all put our spin on it. But I think to really work well with a mentor, you need to really have that honest conversation. And I think laying out those pros and cons is something that's always helped me.
Yeah.
Being able to look at it and say, these are the pros, these are the cons, this is the way that I'm leaning. What's your advice, right? And really working with that mentor and really building relationship with that mentor. But I think one of the other things that's really huge is actually following up with the mentor. Mm-hmm. Right? We go and we have lunch with somebody and we talk about, hey, can you help me with this idea or this issue, or I'd love your feedback on this, but we don't follow up. And if they do give advice, what happened with the advice? So, did it get executed? What happened with it? And then, what is our role next? Should we be paying that mentorship forward? Should we be looking to help somebody else out too? I think that's one of the ways it works best. And depending on where you're at in business, mentorship can be a little bit different. For all of us, if you're in business and you've been in business for a while, maybe you join an organization like EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, where you can work with, a group of like-minded business professionals, and you can, get some mentoring, you can get some ideas that, or, maybe you join a YPO or one of those organizations, where you can really take that mentorship to the next level. There's some amazing folks out there, and I think, they can really help scale your business. One of the things I love about franchising is it's kind of a mentorship of its own. Right? Franchising is amazing because you've bought into a business and, somebody's already learned the lessons. Mm-hmm. They've already made the mistakes. Yeah. They've already figured out the process. It's amazing what we see is that, a franchise owner might come to us and say, hey, I want to try this out. Yeah. And we're like, oh, this was the result. And they're like, oh, man. I understand. Great. You just saved me a bunch of money. So, mentorship, really comes into play in your business. Who are you talking to, right? That's one of the things we want to dial in. And then, number two, what season of our business are we in? Mm-hmm. And then when we're starting our business, who's that coach? Who's guiding us? And think of it more as those guide rails, right? Who's going to help keep us, in those guide rails. And think of it like, when you're out with your kids and you're going bowling that first time, right? And, the kids are 3 and 4 years old and they can barely get the ball to roll down the lane, and you throw up the bumpers so they don't get the guardrails every time, right? That's kind of what mentorship does. It kind of helps us stay in the lane, kind of helps us keep going. And, it gives us that advice that can really take our business to the next level. So I'm all in favor of mentorship. I think if you're going to take your business to the next level, find a mentor. Find someone that is willing to invest their time. Yeah. But I think one of the important things is, when we're looking at it, do they have the capacity to do it? Do they want it? And do they have the knowledge behind it? Yeah. And if they do, then that's a great mentor. So I love mentoring, and I think for all you business owners or guys about to start business or whoever you are, find a mentor and get plugged in.
Yeah, no, great point, Dave. And you brought up something that was really key, that when you're talking about franchising, for example, you have you from your background, from your career, your skill set, you come with a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and when you are starting, whether it's an independent business or in franchising, it could be in a different industry or looking at different opportunities. And it's really important, I think, to separate the management from the leadership, right? We all know that that's
right.
The two separate things, right?
Yeah.
It's management is task-oriented, a lot of admin type duties, ensuring that you're kind of sticking to the plan. Leadership is, when you have a small team or a team around you, you're really building up on motivating them, and leading by example, that other elements that come with leadership. And to your point, when it comes to franchising, a lot of that management is built into the system already,
Yeah.
and then at that point, you're the mentorship from the leadership, knowledge of that industry, that kind of business. That's really where that takes off.
Well, even when you're coming to look at a business, right?
Yeah.
Like, whether you're going to get a job there or you're going to be a franchise of that business or it's mentor, like look at the leadership team, right?
Right.
The leadership team is so important, because if there's no leadership team, where is the business going?
Yeah.
The leadership and the mentoring, that's like your GPS, right? Mm-hmm. What's going to keep the ship going the right way?
Yeah.
So, we want to make sure that you've got that dialed in the right way.
Yeah. And that leads into the next business essential. They have I combine the strategy, finance, and accounting, the financial aspect of the business, right? Strategy
Sure.
and finance. And what's important to those goals in business?
Excuse me. Well, strategy and finance, finance absolutely fundamental to being successful in business. One of the things I like to do is just, sit down and even if it's on a white pad, but just scribble out what those expenses are, right? What you think they're going to be. Just start getting an idea. What is the lease going to cost? What is insurance going to cost? Insurance may be way more than you ever thought it's going to be. For those of you who may be in the snow removal industry, getting a several $100,000 insurance policy for snow removal might be old hat, but to somebody just jumping into general construction business, it's going to scare them to death. So understanding where we're at from a financial standpoint is really important. And then I like to really dial in that budget. Yeah. And then from there, I want to know, what am I going to produce? What's my sales going to look like? And I think this is important because we got to have a sales strategy. We got to have a sales plan. And when we start to develop that business plan, it becomes, really, really simple. Just as an example, we were talking to a salesman, and we were talking about, what's your plan for the year? And, we know that our average job size is 125,000, just as an example. And, we know that, his goal is to sell 56 jobs in a year. So if he breaks that down, wow, that's kind of daunting. I got to sell 56 jobs. Well, there's only 52 weeks.
Right.
In a year, right?
Right.
So it's just a little over one job a week. And when you start to break it down that way, it's like, oh yeah, that's no big deal.
Right.
I can knock out a job a week, right? I can knock out 4 or 5 jobs a month. So it's about taking that business plan, breaking it down, making it simple, and then understanding how we're going to get to our goals. But if we don't create the budget first, we don't know what we're benchmarking against.
That's true.
So if we've got the budget and we've got the benchmark, now what we know what we need to sell to break even, and then we know what we sell to be profitable. Mm-hmm. And so when we start to break those things down, then we start to decide, what kind of business do I want to get into?
Right.
Right? Do I want to get into a business that's fast cash? Do I want to get into a business that has, asset light opportunities to it? Do we want to get into a business that I've got to invest $1.5 million in real estate and restaurant equipment? You start to decide what kind of business you want to be in, right? Where are you going to go? And then what are the returns on that investment? How often, are you going to see that? And one of the things I really like to do is I really like to sit down and say, these are our business goals, but let's look at our personal goals. Everybody in business, it's all about business, 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 and they say LinkedIn is about business, 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 but business is personal and personal is business in my mind. Mm-hmm. So, I'm in business to achieve my personal goals. So I had a great conversation with a guy the other day. He said, hey, you know what, man? I want 10 acres. I want it on a lake. I want a barn, and I want 2 horses. That's what I want to achieve. And what's that going to... Oh, and by the way, he says, I want $100,000 apiece for each one of my kids to go to college.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, and by the way, and we added one more thing. And that's my personal goal. Okay, so what do you need to achieve that? Right? Okay, you need a couple $1,000,000. How are you going to get that? Let's break it down backwards. Because we're in business to achieve our personal goals. And if we know our business budget, we know our profit budget, we now know how much money we're going to put in our own pocket. I'm getting excited just talking about it. If you can't tell, I'm getting jazzed up about it. Now we know how we're going to make our personal goals, and now we can start putting that money aside, and we can start achieving our dreams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing to achieve your dreams, but you got to plan for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the business. You know, when I started my business, I started it just straight up and down. There was no support, there was no system. If I had to do it over, the number one thing that I would do is I would find a franchise system that I could fall in love with, people that I would love to be around, and that I could really benefit from those people who have learned those lessons. Because I've learned so many lessons over the year. I've kicked myself 1,000 times, right? Well, I'm tired of doing that. So in franchising, it's like, oh, okay, that's the best practice. Awesome. Okay, that's the best practice. Awesome. We just attended IFA, International Franchise Association Conference. Great time. And what you see there is that amazing people are taking the leap into franchising, and they're learning the lessons. It's like an accelerated course.
Yeah.
To jumpstart your business.
Best practices.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. The folks I've been in. No, you bring up a great point, Dave. You know, what we talk about in franchise development, a lot of the potential business owners that are looking into the business is really a key question. Really, not to oversimplify this, but it's really, but just to highlight what Dave said is, what's your goal? And even more important than that is how do you measure success? You know, how are you looking to measure your financial success? I mean, what do you need to pay the bills, obviously, keep the lights on, you know?
Yeah.
You know, not only that, but also, 5 years, 10 years down the road, because none of us get into business to only be in business for 2 years.
We get in business to party because we're professional and we like to have a good time.
That's
right?
true.
That's
true.
That's the mantra. If you saw my IFA video, you know what I'm talking about. Ricky Bobby.
That's good. Hey, I know this one's dear to your heart.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to...
It must be about money or giving back or something.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Building the culture and also giving back, the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, this is so important. You know, what you're talking about is culture.
Right.
You know, building an amazing culture. And I think that this starts way, way, way before you even open the doors to your business, before you even think about starting business. You know, culture is key, but you got to define what kind of culture you have. And when we look at culture, you know, who are you? What is it going to take to succeed? You know, do I have to have tough skin? You know, did I get into this business to, quit tomorrow if it doesn't work out? You know, so many times, you know, if we come from, just, working in corporate America or working a job, we're so used to saying, well, I'm going to go get a job at, Pete's Packing. And if it doesn't work out, or if I don't like Pete, or the people don't treat me nice, I'm just going to quit and get a new job.
Yeah.
I'm going to go across the street to Bob's Packing, right? Mm-hmm. But business isn't like that. You know, business isn't, you don't jump into business and say, well, if this doesn't work out, I'm just going to go do something else, right? This is, hey, man, you got to have that mentality, and you got to have that grit. You got to know that, I'm going to stick through this thing. I'm going to see this thing through to the end. I'm going to be committed to it. I'm going to have ups. I'm going to have downs.
Right.
I love franchising because you got a cheerleader there to support you and help you and be with you on that journey. But at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be defeated. Yes, there's going to be tough times. Yes, there's going to be moments I feel like quitting. I'm going to probably hear more bad news than I ever will good. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to be committed to it for the long run, right? Because it's a huge financial investment. It's a huge piece of your business. And so, we want to do that. And it also comes down to your culture, right? Like the number one thing for me, the number one reason that I'm in business is to give back, right? Number one. I want to make money to be able to give back to things I believe in. That's the purpose for me, right? My purpose is bigger than being in business, right? I want to be able to do that. And so, as you build your business, what does your culture look like? Right? What is that going to be about? And a lot of that's going to be about you. When we talk about giving, if you say, hey man, I'm going to be a giver. I want to give back. I want to change my community. And then you say, but I'm going to start doing that once I make some money. The truth of the matter is you'll never do it. You got to start from day one.
Right.
Giving's got to be a part of you from day one. It's got to be a sacrifice from day one. Right? In our business, we believe in getting together. We believe in having a good time. One of our camera guys, Rich, who's shooting today, we had a nice conversation about our children yesterday, about how they were born, babies, this and that. That's in our weekly lunches, right? We have what's called First Friday. Every week we're getting together. We have lunch together, right? I got to know a little bit about Rich. That was cool. He's sitting there shooting camera right now. We had a good time. I got to know something about him because in business, we set aside time to get to know one another.
Yeah.
If we were just going about our daily business and we weren't spending time and we weren't doing that, I would never know that.
Right.
And so it's pretty cool that we can have fun and we can get to know each other. Now, several years ago, maybe 2017, we brought on an executive who said, hey man, the Friday lunches are dumb. I want you to cancel those. They get in my way. I have to stop working on whatever I'm working on to go have lunch.
Was that me?
No, Vince, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. I wouldn't talk about you right in front of you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's just a joke. Those who know me know I'm pretty blunt and straightforward. So anyways, but the fact of the matter is, a couple months later, he comes back and he says, you know what, man, the lunches are amazing. You can't go without the lunches because it's a part of the culture. It's a part of the DNA of the business, right? And we like to have fun. One of the things we do at Transmove is we have a good time. So determine what you want, determine who you are, and then ingrain those things in your business. And I like to say, man, you got to have your own brand of crazy, right? It's got to be your own brand of people buying in and people having a good time. And a lot of people, come to work with me, one, because of my beliefs, two, because of how we give back, and three, because of the vision, right? That's why they come. They'll move across the country, to come work with us because it's about something bigger than just TransBlue. It's about something bigger than just, doing a construction project for a client. It's more than a place to work. It's more like a community.
It is.
And that's what we want to develop in our culture. It's got to be a culture that gives back and makes people's life better. One of the things I like to say is treat your staff members as if they were a volunteer.
Yeah.
What if they come to work and they were doing it for free? Would you yell at them? Would you talk down to them? Would you be mean to them? No, you wouldn't.
No.
You'd be like, thank you, man. I'm so glad you're here. Rock on, brother. Can I give you some soup? Whatever. You're having a good time. So I just think develop your culture, think about who that is, and write that culture plan out before you start your business and stick to it. And right there, right at the top, this is my brand of crazy.
Right. And you brought up a good point, on the community side. You bring up the community aspect of it, about why we exist in business.
Right.
And I think that's what you mind sharing that. I think that's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, we exist in business to give back, man. This is what's so important. There's over 135 different charitable organizations that we've given to. Some help sexually abused kids, some help, trafficked kids, some help with pregnancy, some help with domestic violence, some help with food banks, some help with, the Christian causes that, I believe in and that we're a part of, some help with food banks. But, it's all about the community. And, to me, if you're in business and nobody knows that you're in business, there's no point in being in business. If you were to close your doors tomorrow and the community weren't to know that you were gone, what was the point of even being there? Right? How did you impact the world around you?
Yeah.
Because businesses are successful. And what you find is that people love to work with businesses that make a difference, right? And sometimes we even saw it through the pandemic with, different restaurant groups or different people, but, places that really gave back to the community and were really involved in the community, they got a lot of community support.
They did.
Right?
Yep.
People were giving donations or buying extra food or saying, hey, we really support these guys because it was more than just, a business that was out to, drive the next fanciest car, right?
Yep.
They're in it for something more than themselves. So, for me, that's really, really important. There's amazing organizations that we give back to: Dawson's Place, Next Steps, Pregnancy Clinic, New Heart Foundation. A lot of these amazing places that we help support because we want to make the world a better place.
Right.
And I'm a big Jim Collins fan. So, big, hairy, audacious goals. That's $100 million a year into charitable and notable causes. And that's what I believe in, into the mission field, right? Get it out there so that we can make the world a better place. That's my vision. That's my dream. I know it might sound crazy, but we got to have our own brand of crazy. So I'm going to live up to that.
But it speaks to who you are, right? It speaks to.
Are you saying I'm crazy?
No.
No, I'm just teasing.
Like you said, not around here.
That's right. That's right.
So it's and these business essentials, the training aspect of it, right? The mentorship, whether it's independent or franchising, that's what we're talking about. Really being able to and then customize it to who you are, right? And what's important to you and your family as you start to really kind of lay out the plan. So with that, let's kind of do a quick recap about some of these business essentials that we discussed today, right?
Yeah.
Leadership and management. It's understand the differences and also lean on those mentors.
Yep.
That are some of the people you can trust, people that are in similar like-minded industries, and build on that. I mean, I think that's priceless, and that's where in our world in franchising, that's a big part of what our system is. Like a lot of franchises out there, right? So the other part of it is the strategy and financing and accounting.
Yeah, lock that in.
Yeah, lock that in. It's it's so key to understand the balance sheets, the P&Ls, know the difference between profits and cash flow management, all those aspects. And if you're being exposed to an industry, new business, it's so important, again, that training for that, not only that, but also the mentorship that comes with that. And of course, culture and community. I like to, that's your guiding light, right? That's a lighthouse, if you will, right? Since we're kind of in the building environment, it's that foundational piece.
Absolutely.
Right? That you're building, you put your studs on and and
put that drywall up.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah, you want to put another floor 2 years down the road, you have that strong foundation.
That's right, man. That's right. Build it on a rock.
Yeah. And any parting thoughts, Dave, on?
I mean, it's great to be able to be here. It's great to be able to share the tips, find a mentor, build a budget, set your goals, define the culture that you want, and share what you believe in.
Right.
If you can take 4 keys, away from today, those are the best tips, right? Find a mentor, build a budget, set goals, define your culture, and share what you believe in. Make that important. If you enjoyed this, share it. If you enjoyed it, join us again. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm always going to say that because I like it. And it's cool.
It's a good plug.
Yeah, it is cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've enjoyed it. It's been a great time with you here, Vince, today. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Hopefully this was helpful.
Take care. Great weekend.